You know, the joke in Albany is often AG, Attorney General, stands for aspiring governor. Yeah. Are you trying to become Attorney General for a run for governor at some later point?
I'm running to be the next Attorney General of the state of New York.
New York Attorney General Letitia James is running for governor. James made the announcement on Twitter this afternoon.
Do you plan on using this to elevate yourself for a governor run?
No.
Okay.
Today, I am announcing my campaign to be your next governor. It's Attorney General. It's Letitia James. That's it.
Mr. Trump has repeatedly and consistently misrepresented and inflated the value of his assets.
And by the way, not one bank, not one insurance company ever filed any complaint. Everyone was paid on time.
And before he takes the stand, I am certain that he will engage in name-calling and taunts and race baiting.
We've got to stand up to an administration which is too male, too pale, and too stale.
That he will engage in name-calling and taunts and race baiting.
Too male, too pale, and too stale.
Too male, too pale. You get it? Male and pale, they rhyme. You know, white men, not good.
Too male, too pale, and too stale. And we will not go away silently.
The only thing that matters are the facts and the numbers. And numbers, my friends, don't lie. Thank you.
The judge said yesterday that Mar-a-Lago, he said it's worth $18 million. In West Palm, I don't know if you can get an apartment for $18 million.
By the way, 126 rooms, 62,500 square feet for Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
If the president had put his brand alone, the brand of Trump, which got him elected to office, that brand alone would quadruple, triple, double, whatever the number is, the statement of financial condition. This is insanity.
Every contract that the Trump family was involved in with real estate and applying for loans and dealing with insurance companies, lending companies, they had language in this contract that said not to use their appraisals, but they had to use their own appraisals, that it would be their fiduciary responsibility to come up with what they believe the real value of a property happens to be.
The only thing that matters are the facts and the numbers. And numbers don't lie.
Now, at the center of this trial is an insane ruling from a judge claiming that Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach, that its real value is only $18 million.
Mar-a-Lago is one of the most valuable properties anywhere in the world, worth well over $1 billion.
She said this morning that the numbers don't lie, and they won't lie in this case. Well, Miss James, I have a message for you. The numbers didn't lie when you ran for governor, and that's why you dropped out. Miss James came out this morning and said that she knew Mr. Trump, and she always calls him Mr. Trump because it kills her that he was the president. But the 45th president of this country, one of the best presidents we've had, has built a great company. It's worth a ton more than that statement of financial condition. She calls him a bully. She says he's going to bring out racial slurs. He's going to say things today and taunt her. Well, Miss James, you taunted him.
As the New York State Attorney General, I promise that I will use the powers of the law. I will take on President Donald Trump.
And in her campaign, she didn't promise to remove all the rapists from the subway. No. She promised to use the legal system to hurt her political enemies, namely Donald Trump.
Before you came into office, before you saw one record, one statement of financial condition, you taunted him.
The President of the United States has complained that I'm engaging in some sort of political witch hunt, that I've got some personal vendetta against him, that I campaigned against him. That is not true. That I campaigned against him. That is not true.
She says he's going to bring out racial slurs. He's going to say things today and taunt her. Well, Miss James, you taunted him.
So surely Trump is just being paranoid. I mean, an AG wouldn't be just out to get him.
Would she?
She campaigned on the promise of holding President Trump accountable, saying she will aggressively investigate Trump's businesses and finances in his hometown.
You taunted him. You said his administration was too male and too pale.
Too male, too pale, and too stale.
Those are her words. But it is loud and clear. They've got nothing.
So you get nothing.
They've got nothing but their politics.
Well, we will use every area of the law to investigate President Trump and his business transactions and that of his family as well.
Trump claims that you campaigned on a Get Trump agenda. I know that that's not true, but can we actually get him? Just tell me.
She promised she would go after Donald Trump, that she would sue him. It is on tape.
Will you sue him for us? Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the ass. He's going to know my name personally.
We've got to get ready to mobilize, and we've got to get ready to agitate and irritate until victory is won, but more importantly, until Trump is defeated.
You've got to remember that that footage that you're showing on that screen was before she was in office, before she knew anything about the Trump organization.
The politics stop at my door. Notwithstanding some of the comments that I made during the campaign, now is the time to govern. And now is the time to uphold the law.
President Trump is worth a lot more, and she wasn't ready for it. She doesn't understand it. And before she rushed to judgment, she should have thought about attacking somebody with over 50 years of real estate expertise who changed single-handedly the skyline of New York City.
When she ran for office on the campaign promise of, quote unquote, getting Trump, she was violating the ethical standard that governs prosecutors. She had no access to any evidence, any investigative files. She committed herself publicly to getting a specific individual, and then she misused the power of her office to manufacture a case against him. That's the sort of thing for which she should be disbarred.
I will be shining a bright light into every dark corner of his real estate dealings and every dealing.
Why are you being tried by the judge? Why not take it to a jury? But apparently, based on New York law, make sure I got this right, a consumer protection statute that denies the right to a jury, correct? That's why it's before a judge? Is that correct?
You're right. We don't have the option. It's equitable relief. And another reason we didn't have the option, this liability was predetermined through a motion before the trial. He found us summarily liable. He said that we committed fraud, we meaning Trump Organization and all the defendants committed fraud on their statement of financial condition because they were too low, when in fact they were, in many instances, undervalued.
This case was brought simply because it was a case where individuals have engaged in a pattern and practice of fraud. And I will not sit idly by and allow anyone to subvert the law. And lastly, I will not be bullied. The Donald Trump show is over.
I will not be bullied. The Donald Trump show is over.
I don't even know why there is this trial. I think we should can this judge just convict him so we can move on to the appeals and win that, please? It's a waste of everyone's time.
The judge was told that the statute of limitations needed to be a reasonable statute of limitations, but he's ignoring it and allowing evidence in from as far back as 2011, imagine. There's a real disregard for authority here and a real primary focus on politics, and that's what we're seeing in the courtroom.
People should understand, this is the case that the prosecutors decided not to bring. This investigation started as a federal investigation by prosecutors in the Southern District of New York in Manhattan. And even though they're quite anxious to do a case against Trump, they didn't think there was a case here because even though they're saying fraud, 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 there's no victims. But Tish James picked up the scraps that the prosecutors didn't want. And because it's a civil proceeding and she's got a monstrous statute in New York that she can operate under, she can go after him without proving fraud, without even proving that he had any deceptive intent.
Our research looked back. There's not been one case brought in New York State where there was no wronged party that brought the case for overvaluing real estate assets. This is an unprecedented case in New York State.
Well, I could find no case anywhere like this. And part of the problem is the underlying law, which doesn't require any victim. It doesn't require anyone to lose money. You know, the banks were not complaining. They apparently made money. And you have the AG, James, who ran on being a political activist. She ran on saying that she would bag Trump for anything.
This is a woman who taunted the president but likes to act like she's the victim. She's not practicing law. She's just simply there for PR.
At the end of the day, the documentary evidence demonstrated that, in fact, he falsely inflated his assets to basically enrich himself and his family. He continued to persistently engage in fraud. The numbers don't lie.
These liberals, Letitia, James, this judge, they think their side is so star-spangled virtuous that they can violate every norm, every legal standard, every modicum of decency because the ends somehow justify the means. It's garbage.
Mr. Trump obviously can engage in all of these distractions, and that is exactly what he did, what he committed on the stand today, engaging in distractions and engaging in name-calling. But I will not be bullied. But I will not be bullied. I will not be harassed. This case will go on.
She needs to educate herself, maybe go to some, I don't even know how to express how ridiculous this is. They're using tax-assessed values and saying that they're fair market values. Yeah. The judge is agreeing with them. It's like being in a circus with a bunch of, what I want to say I can't say on TV, but it's crazy. You know, it's just ridiculous. Anybody with a brain understands that this is just completely insane.
And numbers, my friends, don't lie. Thank you.
We're now criminalizing political differences. That's a very dangerous place for any country to be.
I am your voice.
This was the cover of the Washington Post yesterday. Quote, Donald Trump and his allies have begun mapping out specific plans for using the federal government to punish critics and opponents should he win a second term. Oh, weird. Like the left has done against Trump for the last 8 years? You know what? Donald Trump, go get him as far as I'm concerned. I want you to do exactly what they did to you. Burn the system down. I'm here for it, and I'm going to roast marshmallows over the ashes.
Good day, sir.